Hello, magandang hapon po mga kaibigan. Good afternoon, friends, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are again for Doc Cholo's vlog. We are having another episode for Kali exercise. Okay, and welcome. Uh, we have we haven't gone online for a few days due to some more important matters to be taken up. So that's why. Okay, here we are now. Anyway, um, okay. Um, I have taken up with you on how to do yourself, how to guide yourself as to how movements of the sequences of Kali should be. Okay, and I have given you actually three techniques. Okay, one is to know the basic moves. The basic moves meaning to say you have the horizontal, and then the X, and then the figure of eight. Okay, and then I added another technique. Okay, which means to say that when you move, you can do your move randomly depending on the moves. Okay, you can do the X, you can do the figure of eight, and you can do the horizontal. Okay, and remember, I also told you that there is such a thing as triangular guide, meaning that when you move your Kali, when you move your arnis, okay, or the bolo or your weapon, you follow a triangle. It's like you are drawing a triangle in front of you. Okay, you have the normal triangle, or you may have the inverted triangle. So you can move it horizontally, forming the base of the triangle. Then you can move it down, drawing a triangle. Or you can move it on the opposite. You have the apex upward. To sum it up, the moves, whether you use the triangular guide and using the basic moves, the X, figure of eight, the horizontal, they actually cover every move of Kali. And then the other one was the other technique that I told you is to utilize pointing a guide, your hand as a guide to where you want your stick to go. Okay, so you use pointing or guiding using the hands. So if you point to the right, it goes there. The left goes there. You point it downward, it goes there. There, you can point it upward, and you can do it randomly anywhere you wish to let your stick go. Okay, point it down, point it here, point it there. Okay, you can use it. And the way you use it, you may slash or you may stab. So when it goes there, you may when right there, you may do this, do this. Okay, they do this. Then you point up, or you may strike downward. Okay, and so it's basically movement of both hands. Okay, so those are the three techniques on how to guide where your hand goes. Remember, we are doing this as a form of Kali exercise and not really combat. But you know, if you get used to how to move the Kali, how to move, you may be able to make use of it when you come into combat. Okay, that's the positive side of knowing how to move the stick. Okay, you'll note that if you do if you do the guiding hands. Okay, so the guiding hands may act as a strike or as a parry, a block. Okay, a block. So you see that the reason why we do this is there is a purpose for it. See, it's a parry, parry, and so you'll see, friends, that the use of the patterns that I'm recommending you to follow, such as the basic moves, the triangular shape guide, and the guide, hand as a guide, are very much useful. So now I'm going to demonstrate to you how practical it is when you use two. Okay, we always say that Kali, okay, Kali is using a stick, the Arnis stick. But when you use the Arnis stick in your game, okay, we use it to simulate a sharp bladed instrument. And so your mindset would always be movement with with being aware that you are using a bladed instrument, whether a big one or a small one, whether a bolo, a sword, or a knife. And so you will always see that it would be related to how you're moving a big instrument. Okay, now let me let me elaborate on how to use, okay, how to use two sticks, applying the hands as a guide. Okay, we have been talking about hand guided, okay, pointing with the hand as to where the kali will go. We have been using this, okay, with only one stick, but now let's show you. Let me demonstrate to you how we use it using a double stick. Now, I'm saying that kali is actually using a stick, but we are thinking that this stick simulates in place of a bolo, okay, and that's our awareness. So when you use two sticks and you utilize pointing, it's the same thing. The principle is the same. So when you do this, okay, from your stance, when you do this, it goes there. When you do this, it goes there. When you point there, it goes up. When you point down, it goes there. Point to the other side, it goes to the other side. Okay, so you may. See? So that's the move, okay? So actually it means, okay, when you point this, when you point at it, it means it's either parry or strike. Okay? Then you point it there, okay? Point it up, goes up. When you point it down, goes down, and point it to the right side, goes to the right, and you go to the left. So so you see, when you use two sticks, everything has a meaning when you move it, okay? You point it, but actually it's a parry or a block or a strike. Strike. Move it to the left, you can parry, strike. You can follow it up, okay? So the point is, your move means something. When you use two sticks and use the pattern guide, I told you that when you use a single stick, you use the hand. So it's the same thing. Okay? It's the same thing. But the hand would say this is parry. It parries. When you go down, parries. It can strike. It can strike. It can parry, go up. It can parry, go up. It can go. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. You can do this. Okay? So later, in the next episode, let's talk about the knife and the bolo. Okay. Now we're using kali with two sticks, and I'm telling you how to do it when you're alone. Okay, the important thing is for us to exercise using kali principles. Okay, so but you need to know the meaning. So when we move this, strike, move this, strike, go down, strike. So I hope you can get the idea, okay? You can get the idea on how we move with kali with grace, graceful. So mind you, you can move the guide either left or right. This time I'm using the left hand, okay, as a guide. But you can start with the right. Start this with guide point to the left, okay? Okay. So whatever side, whatever kali or whatever arnis, whether in the right or the left hand you use, it follow the same principle. So, so that's it, my friend. I hope you can get the idea of what I'm saying. Okay. So these are the means how we learn, and always bear in mind that this is kali exercise. Okay, this is not promoting the combat side. Maybe later on we will be doing some samples of how we do the combat. But now you might be thinking about why is it that other Kali dojo or schools are teaching a different way. Okay, yeah, this is totally different. Only in principle we have the principles of Kali. Remember, this is Kali exercise, and we are using the principles of Kali to utilize it as a form of exercise, especially for seniors like me. Okay, and it's a good kind of exercise. Okay, and by the way, let me give you a tip, because using the stick, one move. Okay, there's a move that is very popular, especially when you do fancy moves. Okay, fancy moves, and that's what they call a twirling. There are so many experts on this. Okay, there are so many experts on this. Now, the reason why I want to clarify this, because when we use the stick, okay, like for example this move, okay, and this move, so it shows some moves of twirling. Okay, it's a common move in Kali. Some twirl it with using this style. Okay, they grip the stick with one of the fingers and do it. It's so fancy. Okay, I don't recommend it because you are compromising your grip with fanciness of your move. Okay, there's so many moves that are so fancy in Kali, and I really don't recommend. Okay, there's so many fancy moves in Kali, but me, I recommend that when you twirl it long. Okay, it's not twirling just by the wrist. The wrist have a small play. Hold it firmly. The wrist has a small play, but mostly it is from the elbow to the shoulder. The twirling is something like this. Okay, and you see that my grip is the same. Okay, my grip is the same. See, so the real twirl in a with a bolo. Okay, you cannot do that with a bolo. You cannot twirl. Okay, now this is our knees stick, and remember, we are using our knees to simulate the use of a bladed weapon. If you get used to making some fancy move so fast, I really can't understand why they need to be moved so fast. Well, it's a good practice exercise maybe to move it fast, but when you use a bolo, okay, when you use a knife, maybe a knife you can move it fast. But when you use a bolo or a sword, the movements are not so fast, but precise. The precision is there. So precision is utmost important in, in the use of sword. Okay, so I think that's about it for today's demonstration. Okay, again, let me give you a disclaimer. I'm not a master. I'm not a grandmaster. I'm not even an instructor or a teacher of Kali. I come and entice you to demonstrate these things that I'm doing as a senior in my daily exercise, keeping up shape, okay? Keeping the shape, moving the joints to avoid arthritis, okay? And this is what I do, okay? So I'm teaching you, I'm telling you how I do it, and I entice you, maybe come along with me and let's exercise together. And later on, we probably will be able to talk about some combat moves as a form of exercise. So that's it, folks, and thank you for listening. So I wish that we have more lessons. Okay, next lesson would be I'll be giving you a demonstration on how to use a bolo and a knife. So that's the most common, a more common way when you are in actual, use of Kali, is you use a sharp instrument, a big one and a small one. And so this is how you do it, okay? And I've taught you what I use, okay? And I do the pointing, okay? The guide, using the guided moves. And I guess nobody's teaching this on the internet. Okay, I've noticed that I've gone through the internet and the YouTube, and I've noticed that there are a lot of tutorials. And mind you, maybe you will find out that there are none like Kali exercise. Okay, nobody's teaching you such what I'm demonstrating to you. Okay, so this is Kali exercise, and this is my Kali. Okay, thank you very much for listening and viewing, and I hope you could join me together in the exercise using Kali principle. Thank you, and see you. Bye bye.